Boxing King Media in association with Boxro. Johnny Nelson, we're at the launch press conference for Lawrence Okolie, Chris Billam-Smith, a fight that not many people saw coming. It's literally hit everyone by shock today. To jumping straight into it, who's got the advantage? Who's the key player in this fight? Is it Lawrence, Chris, Shane McGuigan? Who is it?
It's got to be Lawrence. And as I say, be careful what you wish for. You know, Chris wanted a world title shot in Bournemouth. He's got it. He's got it with an old gym buddy. And if anybody thinks that this is going to be an old pals act, it's far from it, because you got to look at this. Chris Billam-Smith has a chance to box for a world title, like Roy the Rovers, man. You know, for it with a home crowd in a stadium where he lives, his people are there, his family, his friends are there. So he's going to give it his heart and soul. So therefore, he's not going in there to lose. He's going in there to win. Lawrence Okolie knows Chris. They sparred over 300 rounds together. Lawrence Okolie, he wants momentum, and he feels he's the best cruiserweight in the world. So which is why he's willing to say, "I'll have that fight. Let's do it." He only boxed a couple of weeks ago. So this is what champions do. You box anywhere and everywhere, in everybody's back garden. You box, do everything you can. If you're a champion, you'll come back with a title. That's a championship mentality. Not many champions do that. Not many champions are willing to do that. So regardless of what level Lawrence Okolie is at his career, because I don't think he's a finished article. I think he looks he's very unorthodox, but it's not pleasing on some of the eyes. So eventually, when he finds his way, when he finds his comfort zone, and that's when you're going to see the best of Lawrence Okolie. But at this stage of his career, if he's a world champion, you know what, it's a great place to be. You know, he has a punch power. I'm hearing when he's sparring with the likes of Danny Dubois, he's manhandling him in the gym. So he's talking about moving up to heavyweight. So I think this fight is going to be I think it'll be one of Lawrence's best fights, because he's in with somebody that he cannot take lightly, and he knows Chris Billam-Smith's strengths.
The interesting part in this is nobody's got close to beating Lawrence Okolie. If you look down BoxRec, every single fight is either a unanimous decision or a knockout. So nobody's even got close. So how's Chris Billam-Smith going to get close?
Chris knows him. As I said, he bought 300 rounds. Lawrence said it's not just about beating Chris, it's about beating Shane. It's master against the student. So familiarity breeds content. And so Chris has that insight. And Shane knows what Lawrence's weaknesses are and what their strengths are. Now, in the time they've been apart, Chris will have grown as a fighter, Lawrence will have grown as a fighter. The respect's there, and even afterwards, you know, Chris came all suited and booted, you know, want to shake his hand, so I'm going to knock him out. Lawrence was non-committal. I'll just take it how it is. Even when it come to the face-off afterwards, Lawrence wasn't even playing that game. Quick snap, moved away, Hulk walked off. Now you've got to be smart. I can remember having to do that with two friends I fought. One guy called Tony Booth, and we were in the same gym together. My opponent pulled out. He said, "I'll have it." He sat there trying to be my pal whilst we're getting our hands bandages, and I'm thinking, do I knock this guy out? He's my friend, or do I do it on points? So this is my career, so I've got to get him out of there, because he might get me with a shot I don't expect. So I've got him out in 2 rounds. Did the same again in the world title defence against Rudy May, a friend of mine. But when it comes to the fight, especially if you're the champion, it's serious. It's actually, so it doesn't have to be fisticuffs. It doesn't have to be I hate you, you hate me. You're going to get two fighters that are going to go in there, and their reasoning for wanting this fight more than the other is just as important. Lawrence can't afford to lose, because if he loses, he's in the who needs him club. He's unorthodox, he can punch, he's big, you can't get close to him. Chris Billam-Smith wants the world title. He's at home in front of his people. He's not come to make up the numbers. He wants to do proud. He has to go back there and live there. He has to walk those streets. So therefore, people need to understand, this is probably less fake than any fight you can ever think of, because you've got guys that really want this. They want it for the right reasons.
And on that day, Johnny, we've got The Zone, we've got Wood Lara 2, brilliant fight. Mike and Collins also fighting on the same day. There's been a lot of competition between Boxer and the Matchroom and The Zone over fight schedules. Have you seen the latest schedule from The Zone? And the fans are out there. You can see it on the public opinion.
So that's pretty easy. That so every fighter has their fans. The fans are going to follow their fighter. This is now about the broadcasters. This ain't me and you business, it's their business. So their business is this: who's going to do the best job of promoting their show? Who's going to do the best job? Who's going to do the best job of promoting their show? Who's going to do the best job of letting the casual audience see they have a show on? Sky are the master at it. They've always been the master at it. So again, if you're not in a position to flick over and catch one fight straight after the other, it's a case of PR. It's a case of talking about it, getting it out there, let people know it's there. So that's the jobs they do.
Do you think more people will be watching Okoli, Billam-Smith, or Wood Lara 2?
I think Cakolli, Billam-Smith. I think Cakolli, Billam-Smith, and they've got the platform to do it. This guy's a beast. This guy's a monster of an outlet. So I think it will be packaged exactly how it should be packaged.
So I want to get your opinion on your former stablemate, Kell Brook. We've seen today that it's come out that Amir Khan has tested positive for a banned substance, and it's worth highlighting that I've said it in all the interviews today that you kind of accepted that it was an unintentional digestion, and for that reason they've given him a 2-year ban rather than a 4-year ban because of the strict liability issue. Amir's come out and obviously said he's never been cheating his entire career, never tested for anything before. So your initial thoughts on the actual negative finding and just your opinion on it all?
It's sad, it's a shock. This is happening over and over again, one way or another. I know as much as you do. I found at the same time you did. I have as much information as you have. So therefore, let's just wait and see, because I remember with the Conor Benn thing, the Conor Benn situation, I remember with the Conor Benn thing, the news was changing every hour. So this is what we found out a few hours ago. Let's just see. Let's see how this thing unfolds. And remember, Amir Khan's retired now. Now, Kell Brook, what would he be thinking? Well, I boxed 3 drug cheats and beat him. And it made me feel like King Kong, thinking I'd beat you. So no matter what you take, no matter what you do, I beat you. So people that are taking gear, it doesn't make you a better fighter. It doesn't make you the Einstein of boxing technique and what you've got to do. Might make you a bit stronger, might make you give you a bit more gas, a bit more energy, but it doesn't make you a smarter fighter. And so when you beat a drug cheat, then you think you actually are not afraid of them. But it's also a message out to guys that want to cheat and want to cut corners. Look, boys, it's not. How's it going to benefit you? It's not going to make you Einstein.
I've seen some comments, people saying I may ruin his legacy, but obviously if we go back in the history books, Roy Jones Jr., who funnily enough fought the other day, obviously he was tested, Shane Mosley, there's a lot of fighters that have obviously had these issues in the past. People tend to just forget about it over time.
I do, people develop amnesia very easily, and but that's my message. My message is drugs don't actually make you a better fighter. Drugs will help you cut weight, get you strong, whatever. But if you've got the brain, you've got the brain. If you've learned your craft, you've learned the craft. It's just trying to cut corners. The problem will be when somebody that's been on gear has been horrifically injured or even killed. That's when everybody, there'll be a big, massive shake-up. Because someone can get in prison for that. Someone can, the board have got to. My argument is always the same. I've said it in every interview. How we eradicate this is by the board saying, if you're fighting and you're going to fight on such and such a day and you sign for the fight, you have got to say who's in your team. And everybody in your team have got to give their name, say, right, if the license holder or whatever. And then, if you fail a drug test and you get a ban, they all get the same ban. Because they've got to make a living, they've got to work with somebody else. So they all get banned. They'll be less inclined to turn a blind eye. They'll be less inclined to if they see something they're not comfortable with, they'll say, I'm stepping out of this. They'll be less inclined to be involved in something like that. Because the only name you hear is is the culprit. You know, so you're not telling me the culprits are smart enough to know what to take, when to take it, when to go on a program, and when to come off a program. You know, there's other people involved, but there's only one name mentioned. So and that guy involved or that girl involved will not just be letting themselves down and their fans down, but they'll be letting their team down, affecting their living. They'll be less inclined to do it. So this, some people will say it's not fair. Bullshit. We've got to cut this thing out of our sport, because if we don't, it's going to get to the point where somebody gets killed, and it's going to be down to that. So let's deal with it before it deals with us.
Fair point, man, Johnny. And if I just put it on you, do you believe Amir Khan's cheated, or do you think there could be an issue from what you've seen so far?
Well, unfortunately, I don't want it to overshadow the amazing performance Amir Khan has had in the past, because I've never seen somebody so fast, so on it, and he's never failed a drug test before. So therefore, if he's not failed a drug test before, as far as I'm concerned, he hasn't done it. You know, he's been tested, he's not failed. End of. And so he's been tested this time. Therefore that puts that to bed. So people are thinking about all these wins he's had. You just got to think, well, he didn't fail the drug test then, so we're good. Let's see what comes out down the line. Do I think he's guilty? I don't know enough about it. I know as much as you do. So we just got to wait and see.
Johnny Nelson, as always, appreciate your time. We'll catch you soon.
Sweet, anytime.